Hi, have a nice lunch. Have some Chinese food, because we're going to talk about the China trade bill. I strongly support it. And I disagree with Boehner, who said it could be dangerous, and with the Republican leaders of the House, who are scared of the bill, and with Obama, who warns against passing it. I think it's a very good bill. Look, China is tremendously unfairly tilting the playing field toward itself and against the United States by its currency manipulation. Decades ago, every country had tariffs against every other country. And then we set up the World Trade Organization under President Clinton, which set up a worldwide system of no tariffs and no trade barriers. Terribly important bill. But it specifically exempted currency manipulation. It said, I can't charge a 20% tax on your country's products coming in, but I can undervalue my own currency by 20%, so your goods cost 20% more anyway. It just was a different way of accomplishing the same thing. The tariff and currency manipulation are two halves of the same coin. So we are very correct in calling currency manipulation an unfair trade practice and calling China on it. Now, everybody basically agrees with what I've just said, but some people say we shouldn't launch a trade war with China. Well, come on. We buy $300 billion of goods from China, and we sell $50 billion to them. So who's going to benefit and who's going to be hurt by a trade war? Yeah, the United States will have a couple of companies that'll be in some trouble, and a couple of places might close, and there might be a little increased unemployment, but China will be wiped out. The whole basis of the Chinese economy is its trade imbalance with the United States. China's GDP, gross domestic product, is about $2.5 trillion. $250 billion of that, 10%, is its trade surplus with the United States. It doesn't have a trade surplus with the rest of the world. It's about in balance. It's with the United States that it has that surplus. China's leading source of revenue is ripping off the United States. So they are not going to be able to surrender the American market. They'll do some huffing and puffing. There'll be some token reprisals. But China's going to have to ultimately cave in, because if there was any position of strength, we sure have it. Now, some people say, oh, they're our biggest creditor. Well, the reason they're our biggest creditor is not that they want to be generous and lend us money. They buy dollars so that you can strengthen the dollar. And that's how they weaken their own currency, so their goods come into the United States more cheaply. They're not going to stop buying dollars. They're buying dollars as a form of currency manipulation. So the fears that people have about what they're going to retaliate about are totally ridiculous. Why doesn't everybody see things the way I do? Because of corruption. There is a thriving industry going on of American lobbyists and American businesses who are dependent on working with the Chinese. Lobbyists who used to be at the top levels of our administration, who work for the Chinese and work with the Chinese and are influenced by what they're saying. And they don't want to say, frankly, their personal motivations in this, but they're basically flacking for the Chinese government. Any impartial view of this, looking at it, would conclude that the United States is absolutely getting screwed, and that it should be acting directly to force China to back down and to have a fairer trade policy. So that's my view, and have a nice lunch, and I'll see you tomorrow.